Hey everyone, it's Giovanni Bardawulf, and welcome to another video. So, it's been a few days since I haven't posted since my last monthly recap, but this month I am hoping if I could probably make more videos and watch recent movies so I can review. I'm just really hoping to keep this channel alive by making these monthly recaps. Also, the point of me making these videos is to probably recommend you some movies that I watched and you could watch, or if you've watched, you could tell me what you think. Okay, so let's start with what I've watched in the month of February. The first movie that I watched this month of February was Sinister. Sinister is about a true crime writer that him and his family move into this house where he discovers some snuff films in his house. Then sinister things start to happen where the victim of the films start to haunt him and his family. I don't think I have a problem with this movie. The movie does pretty good job at scares. The films in this movie are pretty scary to look at because you're seeing these people in the tapes having a good time. Then we cut to them being in a scary situation and the one recording kills them. The concept of this movie is pretty great, and the soundtrack that plays in this movie during the snuff films is good. So this movie is just good in my opinion. I'm gonna give it like a 8 out of 10. Next movie I watched this month of February was Flushed Away. This movie is about a rodent who gets flushed away and gets the help of a sewer rodent to find his way up to the surface. Now, honestly, I'm still that one person who still enjoys watching kids movies. This movie was on Netflix and I got excited and happy because I really enjoyed this movie as a kid. I quickly went to Netflix to put on the movie, and it's still a fun movie to watch. It still makes me laugh a lot, and it's just a pretty enjoyable movie. I'm just gonna give this movie probably like a same thing, like 8 out of 10. Next movie I watched was Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 was a sequel to the first Terrifier movie, which I really liked. The sequel is about Art the Clown who gets resurrected by his entity sister. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And returns to terrorize a teenage girl and her brother. I didn't know Art the Clown had like an entity sister. His sister's like also a clown, just like him. Art the Clown in this movie is still scary. The deaths in this movie are more intense, and the clown is still brutal. If I could spoil you this movie, I would tell you to just read the description of this movie on Google, and that's how I can spoil it for you. My jaw was like on the floor when I would see someone die in this movie because it is very, very brutal and violent that will make me look away, and I don't know, like, this is just it's so heavy. Like, I can't believe how heavy this movie got from, like, wow. I'm gonna probably give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's a great sequel. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a third movie. If probably they will. I don't know. I haven't heard. I guess maybe. Probably they will. Probably I'll watch. Probably not. But I'll try my best to watch it. Next movie I watched this month was The Conjuring. The Conjuring, which I can't remember, is about a family who moves into a house that is haunted, and the Warrens stay to get rid of the demon in the house. I believe this movie is based on a true story. The family and the Warrens were real people. I'm not going to talk about the true case or anything because I really don't want to make this video long. My first time watching this movie in the theaters when it came out was a great experience. It was really scary. I jumped at every loud sound in the theater, but watching it again is okay. I mean, not scary anymore, but it is okay, you know? I'm probably considering it like giving this a 7 out of 10. Next movie I watched after The Conjuring was The Conjuring 2. I watched it after the first one. The Conjuring 2 is about a family in London where their daughter becomes possessed by an old man and scary things start to happen. Then the Warrens come to confront the demons and the exorcism. I think this movie is probably my favorite than the first one. I did went to watch in theaters as well. It was a good experience too. I mean, yeah, it was scary. I jumped. I think it's way better than the first one. It's scarier. The nun in this movie is probably the scariest monster ever. It takes place in London and during Christmas. I don't know, it's just a pretty fine movie. Probably gonna give it like an 8 out of 10, which is my most favorite Conjuring movie in the Conjuring universe. Next movie I watched this month was Upgrade. Upgrade is about a guy and his wife who get mugged. They kill his wife and leave him paralyzed, but then an artificial intelligence called STEM gets implanted in his body that gives him the ability to walk and have superhuman strength and seeks revenge against the ones that ruined his life. So I do really like this movie. I like the concept, the story and everything. And the setting, it takes place like in a cyber city. You know, the kills are pretty good. It's an action horror movie, which are two genres I like combined. The ending, the ending is great. I mean, I don't want to spoil this movie. You definitely could watch it if you want. But I'm probably gonna give this movie like a 9 out of 10. Next movie I watched this month was Babysitter Killer Queen, which is a sequel to the Babysitter movie on Netflix. This movie is about 2 years later after defeating a satanic cult led by his babysitter. Cole once again outsmarts the forces of evil when his old enemies return. I see this movie wasn't received well by critics. It has 46% on Rotten Tomatoes and 59% on audience score, which sucks for me because I pretty much love this movie. It's a horror comedy, which I understand not a lot of people are gonna like horror comedies. The deaths in here look like they're not taken serious because every time someone dies, there's always a huge puddle of blood being thrown at the characters. Just looks like someone with a bucket filled with blood splashing them all over, which is honestly pretty funny to watch. It has Jenna Ortega in it, who is one of my favorite actresses of all. And this movie was just fun to me. I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10. It's my opinion. I could totally see myself rewatch this in the future. Next movie I watched this month of February was Guillermo del Toro, Pinocchio. We all know what Pinocchio is about, right? A father wishes for a wooden boy to come back to life, giving him a chance to take care of the child. However, the two of them struggle to find a place themselves as Italy becomes embroiled in fascism. I think this movie is the best Pinocchio movie adaptation we had last year. If you remember last year, we had so many Pinocchio movies, and not all of them were better than this movie. I love all the changes in this movie. It takes place during the war, fascist Italy, like 1908. No, it's like early 1900s. Pinocchio in this movie is like actually a charming kid who goes to his carnival, performs on stage, and goes to war with the rest of the kids. In this movie, he even dies and comes back to life by a blue demon or angel in this movie, which has like a cool design. The ending is different compared to all the other movies. Like, I absolutely love all the changes they made in this movie. Everything looks perfect. This movie is just gonna get a 10 out of 10. It's amazing. I would rewatch this movie in the future. Like, I love Guillermo del Toro and his stuff, and I appreciate we had this movie. Like, it's amazing. Next movie that I watched in the month of February on Netflix was Lyle Lyle Crocodile. Lyle Lyle Crocodile is about a family who moves into New York City. Josh, a kid, struggles to adapt his new life and friends. Then, then everything changes when a singing crocodile and they both become best friends, but their evil neighbor threatens Lyle's existence. I I think I pretty much like this movie. Shawn Mendes voices the crocodile, which I like. I'm not a fan of Shawn Mendes, but I think I'm starting to like his singing because of this movie. He only sings in this movie but doesn't have any lines to say. The crocodile doesn't talk, he only talks by singing because when he sings, he expresses himself and like that's his way of communicating with others. The antagonist in this movie, who is the evil neighbor, is absolutely evil and unlikable. The role casting and everyone's performance in this movie was great. Probably gonna give this movie like an 8 out of 10. It's a musical, which I do like musicals as well. It's just a fine movie to watch. I don't find it boring. I did find it pretty fun throughout the whole entire movie. The next movie I watched this month was Knock at the Cabin by M. Night Shyamalan. Knock at the Cabin is about two gay couple and their daughter go on a vacation to a cabin taken hostage by four armed strangers who demand make an unthinkable choice to avoid the apocalypse. The concept of this movie is great. It looks like a scary situation you will be in. The movie is rated R, but it doesn't look like an R-rated movie because most of the gore and the killing in this movie take place off camera. But there is like bad words and everything, but I don't think that's enough to make the movie rated R. Like, I think this movie deserved a PG-13 rating. The acting is not that bad. The movie is actually based on a book by Paul Tremblay that's titled the same thing. And I hear a lot of people say that the book is better than the movie. I haven't read the book, but I just hear people say about that. They say that the book is more darker than the movie, and in this movie they take away all the dark stuff to make the movie like less heavy, which I think that's the problem. The problem is if you like remove all the heavy dark content from the book in this movie, like I think it's gonna be horrible. Like, just stop making things like taking away dark stuff and changing it to something lighter. Like, I'm just tired of that. Like, just adapt the book right and don't remove anything dark from the movie. But anyways, this movie is probably an okay movie. I think I'm giving this like a 7 out of 10. You could check it out if you want. If you already watched it, you could tell me what you think about it down in the comments. Alright, last movie I watched this month was Infinity Pool. Infinity Pool is about a couple on a vacation, venture outside the resort, then a tragic accident leaves them facing zero tolerance policy for crime. they could get executed or watch themselves get executed. This movie is just so confusing and I don't understand everything about it. Throughout the whole movie, the main character is just watching himself die repeatedly. I just don't get this movie. I don't get it. I honestly was anticipated to watch this movie because the trailer looked amazing. It has Mia Goth in it, which is also my favorite actress. The acting in here isn't bad, it's pretty great. Mia Goth's performance is probably like my favorite. There's visuals and editing in here that play for so long and you just get tired of it. I first heard this movie was gonna be NC-17, which means if you're under the age of 18, you cannot watch it. Even though you're with the Guardian, you still cannot watch it. But they toned it down to like a R rating. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's just an okay movie. I don't know if you would consider this like a rewatch or I don't know. I purchased the movie on my phone. Like I had to buy it and I couldn't rent it. Buying was only in the option, so I don't know, I could probably watch it again in the future. I'm just gonna give this movie like a 5 out of 10. One thing I like about this movie is the acting. I also like the masks that people in this movie wear. It looks pretty creepy. Like I would love to get one of those masks if they ever sold it in Party City for Halloween. Yeah, the reason why I like this movie because it has Mia Goth. That's my reason. Okay, that is it for my monthly recap of February. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos. I'll try making more videos in the future, like watch more recent stuff and give a review. Sorry if my videos are like getting delayed, but it's the way I do things. So yeah, comment down some movies that you would like for me to watch, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.